Hello, everybody, and Happy New Year. I am so glad to be here with you today, and I hope that you all had a wonderful few weeks as we transitioned to 2022 and that you had some crafty time and you were able to create and make beautiful things and look forward to meeting together here again on Running with Scissors. So I'm so glad to have you. If you don't know me, my name is Nicole Watt and this is my channel, Nicole Watt Creates. Every Thursday we do a live stream called Running with Scissors where we create a project kind of based on some of the techniques that I share throughout the month. Sometimes we have themes, sometimes we don't. And we've got all sorts of friends over in the chat as we live stream. So if you are new here, do say hello and tell us where you're from. There's a core group of folks that are always joining, but we'd love to have more. So please do join in. I'm so glad that you are here. So I was feeling really energetic, ready to go. I had my annual appointment today with my doctor and I got my shingles shot. I know I'm a little young for it, but I got it anyway. And now I have a little bit of a headache and my arm is really sore. Could be worse. So the energy is kind of like slowly draining, but we're going to have enough energy to get through today, I promise. So glad to see so many people joining today. Happy New Year to everyone that is out there, whether it is cold or rainy or snowy. It is freezing here in Nebraska. We've got a really heavy wind chill and like highs of 0. So that's like negative degrees when you add in the wind and everything. I had to be out today and it was really, really frigid. Sometimes I'm glad to wear the mask because it helps keep my face a little extra warm. Anyway, so glad to see everyone out there, all of my friends from across the pond. Paula, I'm so glad to see that you made it home okay. I was watching all of the news about your cruise ship and I was so devastated to see all of that happen to you, but I'm glad you made it back to England okay. Glad to see everyone else out there. And so we've got some friends in the golf community that were a part of that, got shingles last year and they're younger than 50. And I know that I had bad chicken pox when I was very little. And I thought, I'm just going to get it. So I got the shingles vaccine and it's a 2-parter. So I have to go back and get my other one later. And hopefully I won't get it. So anyway, I've got tons of announcements. I want to run through them really quick so we can get to our crafting. Okay, so our January theme is hearts, but not Valentines. So all of our projects will have hearts in them, but not necessarily be Valentine's themes. So you can use them throughout the year. You can send them to friends, family, and chosen family, your Galentines, your whomever. You'll see that today. Okay, so pull out all your heart stuff. We're going to find some use for them beyond Valentine's Day. Now you can always manipulate them and turn them into something for Valentine's Day if you need something for that someone special, of course. Okay, so February, I'm going to be a part of the free Card Maker Success Summit. It's a whole mouthful, I know. There was one back in July, but the timing just didn't work for what I had going on. But I'm going to be doing the one coming up in February. If you want to get on the wait list for that, just go to NicoleWattCreates.com/card summit, and that'll forward you to the summit waitlist page. Now, if you sign up for the waitlist now, because it's kind of a little early, you will get on the wait list, but you're going to get some extra emails from Brandy. She's the person that does the card summit. So if you want to wait a little bit, that is cool too. I will continue reminding you about the card summit as it comes up mid next month. So my presentation will be on Friday, February 18th. And there's a whole bunch of other things that go along with it. It is absolutely free. There are 20 or more amazing card makers that are a part of this. So you will definitely want to be a part of it to get all of the free projects and watch all of us create and get all of free inspiration. It's really amazing. So definitely check it out. Okay, another thing I wanted to share with you is that I have mystery boxes. So I did a huge purge over the holidays, and I call them mystery boxes, but really they're the flat rate postal packages. I have a few left that have a mix of companies in them, and I have a whole bunch that are Ulta New exclusively. And let me just show you. So there is over $200 and some odd worth of stamp goodies in these mystery bags. for $75. So get yourself a mystery pack before they are all gone. If you want to get one, go to NicoleWatCreates.com/catalog and find the entry for like a destash. You'll find it. If you have questions, let me know. I will help you get one of these. If you are in a part of the world where America is not shipping to right now, like Australia, you can buy it anyway, and I will reserve it for you, and then I will ship it to you when the when shipping is available again. So I know that we're having this problem with Australia right now, just due to staffing and distance and all sorts of things. Anne says she'll take this one. Should I earmark this for you, Anne? We'll double check and make sure you don't have anything that's in that one. Anyway. Yeah, so if you're in a part of the world where we're not shipping right now, go ahead and pick one up anyway. And like I said, I will hold it in reserve for you until I'm able to ship it. Okay. There's lots of comments going on, which is excellent. So let's see what's all the chatter going on. Let's see. Oh, good. So Paula's good. Let's see. Sue says that she made avocado dyed papers. That sounds really interesting. Oh my gosh. I really want to know more about that. So, Sue, let me know. Holy cow, that's something I need to learn. Okay, let's see. Treasure books. I'm really excited. Okay, so Sue, you definitely have to share more about that. Okay, let's see what else is on my list here. Okay, of course, always, if you are using some of the techniques that I'm posting on Tuesdays, or if you're recreating projects or inspired by anything, of course, I love it when you share. So if you're sharing out on Instagram, tag me at Nicole Watt Creates. I love to see it. I share it back, give you a couple hearts, a couple comments, you know, all those good things. Love to see what you're doing. And of course, I always appreciate when you help support me. So if that is through a little bit of shopping, if you need to do some shopping, use the description and the affiliate links down below, and that will give me a small commission, always at no additional cost to you. Like I always say, that is a great way to support crafters in this world. Because it doesn't cost you a dime and it gives them a little bit of love. Okay. If you want to support me directly, of course, you can always put a tip in the tip jar. That link is also down below. That money goes directly to me and it gets dumped right back into this live stream and other parts of my crafting business. So, oh, and I wanted to share one other thing. I don't know if she's out there, but Dira, I did get these. So as a part of the Bloom community, Dira was asking about calendar pages. See, this is pages from a calendar and what she could maybe do with them creatively. And I said, send me a couple and I will show you. So I did get your pages and I'm going to create something with them. And I think you're going to love them. All right. Oh, I'm going to move stuff out of the way. Oh, I think I missed. So if you're interested in the Bloom community, I'm not sure. It may open in February. I don't know. I'm making some big revamps to it. But in the meantime, you can join the Technique Library. I know Erin is a part of the Technique Library, right, Erin? And you're getting a new technique every week. You get the technique sheets. Let me show you what my technique binder looks like. It's so growing. I'm so excited about it. So you get a new technique every week. You get the technique sheets that go in the binder so you can create your samples, and it's got the instructions. You can put them in your binder, create an amazing resource for yourself. You've got the videos, you've got the supplies lists, all those things in one place, ad-free, easy to search. One new technique comes out a month, so that means you get access to all of the existing techniques, which is like over 30, I think, at this point. And then, of course, one new one every week, so that's 52 a year, plus bonuses every quarter. So it is really, I am loving it, the technique binder and the technique library. And I'm so glad that some of you are enjoying it too. You can join that at any time. It is always enrolling. So go to bloomcrafters.com and look for the technique library membership. If you want to give it a try, I do have a new thing out there. It's called the Technique Library Sampler. It is a 5-week mini course that will give you an idea of what it's like to be a part of the membership, plus some extras. So you can check that out too, because that's just like a one-time thing. And you don't have to worry about the monthly membership. But then if you really like it, you can join the membership. Anyway, okay. Did I talk fast enough? I wanted to get through that as quick as I could because I just want to get to the crafting. Oh my gosh. Anne loves the techniques. Erin loves the techniques. Join the technique library. It's awesome. Okay, you'll be glad you did. Let's split hands here. All right. So today's project. So cute. All right, so this is a technique that I shared recently. Now, you might ask, the techniques that I'm putting on YouTube, yes, they are the same techniques that go into the technique library. However, the technique library is already 3 months ahead of YouTube, and it will continue to grow in its lead when I put out bonuses and things like that. So you will always get more by being in the membership because you get things ahead of time. You also get the technique sheets. Those are exclusive to the membership. Ad-free videos, all that good stuff. Easy to search. There's a lot of bonuses to being a part of the membership, and it's very reasonably priced. So yeah, you can get them for free on YouTube, but then you got to search for them and manage it, and it's just a pain in the butt. Just join the membership. Okay, so 2 really cool techniques here. 1, ink smushing with plastic wrap or cling film. That's what you call it over in Europe. You call this stuff cling film. We call it plastic wrap because it's plastic that wraps things. We're so obvious. Well, I guess cling film is obvious too. Okay, so we're gonna do some ink smushing with plastic wrap. And we're also going to do, this is like an awesome technique, heat embossing with water. Okay, so those 2 techniques are popping into this card. And it's really fun, really simple actually, and really beautiful. Okay, so let's get to crafting. Okay. Here we are. All right, guys, so I'm using a variety of companies this month. And actually, I got a whole bunch of new things from the stamp market. This is like my secret love. I really love the stamp market. And so I picked up some stuff from them over the holidays, and we'll be using a lot of it in the next month here. And actually, so we used some last month too. So, but yeah, so we'll be using Stamp Market today. We'll be using Picket Fence. See, look, it was a free gift that I got. I'm so excited. This is really cute. And then this stencil from My Favorite Things. So, and I like these word dies from Picket Fence because they do come with the shadow, which is super nice if you need the shadow, right? But we're not going to use the shadow today. All right. I'm always so 50-50. Like, I'm thinking, why am I buying these word dies when I could just use my e-cutter? It's because dies are easy. You just pull them out, you put them on the paper, you put them through the machine, and you've got what you want, right? If you're not trying to do something fancy and resize it and whatever, then they're just easy, right? So I just keep buying the dies. Okay, so again, here's our project. Lots of fun things going on. We've got our card base, we've got some red cardstock, we've got some navy cardstock. So a fun little color combo, right? And we've got some watercolor paper. I am going to use VersaFine Clair today in Glamorous. So this is kind of a pinkish, purpley red. All right, and we're going to do a combo of purple red and red red. All right, so here we go. Let's see. Hey, Becca, so glad to see you back. Happy New Year. Sue, is it okay to put a link for the treasure book? Yeah, absolutely. I've never heard of a treasure book, so please share. Pop a link down in the combo there. All right, so, and then another fun tool we're going to use today is this from scrapbook.com. This is a rose gold metallic ink marker. It's just a foam tip. All right, so it's not like you don't have to shake it or anything. All right. So we're going to start with some watercolor. It's just a little closer. And I got my watercolor paper here already. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is take our stencil. I like this one from My Favorite Things. This is their Heart Extraordinaire stencil because it's a stencil and a mask. So it works, you know, you can use it for both things, which is fabulous. So we're going to use the mask piece of it for all of today. All right, and sometimes I like to use my sticky sheets that I like to cut down. These are great. Always using these just to keep things in place. All right, so this will even be helpful when we do our smooshing with the watercolors and our cling film. I will go back and forth on the cling film and the plastic wrap because I always forget what I'm trying to talk about. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do is just a little bit of work with this heart. I'm going to use the purple wine, and actually let me grab here we go. Just want to grab a So I just want to do like a light wash to get the heart to be a little more obvious. Super light though. So you see how like I'm really watering this down. All right, no, you don't because my face is in it. All right. So Sue says smooshing with kitchen stuff is always fun. And that's totally true. Okay, so maybe I watered that down a little too much. It's like, there we go. So it doesn't need to be a perfect heart, but I do want to just kind of give us an outline here. All right, I'm like, la la la, casual, casual. All right, simple, easy. And it's not even perfect, right? Can you see that? You can barely see that on the screen, can't you? So, okay, so there we go. All right, not even perfect, but it's going to be perfect later because we're going to outline it. All right, so I'll set this aside. Let's get to some smooshing. The smooshing. All right, so you don't need a big piece of plastic wrap. It can even have a hole in it. It doesn't matter. If you've watched the video, then you kind of already know how to do this. I think that one went live last month. I can't remember. Anyway, so we're just going to, there's two ways that you can do this. You can either kind of scrunch it and put it down and then smush your paper over it, or you can put it in your hand and dab. All right, so let's do the dabbing version of it today. All right, so I've just got my cling film here. I'm going to mix these two colors. I love a pink and a traditional red together. So this is like a purpley pink, as you've seen, and a traditional red. They both work really well together. So if you don't want to get your hands all painted up, you're just going to take your watercolors. Now you can use any kind of watercolor for this. So if you're using pans, you're going to activate them first and then just use a brush to brush them onto your cling film. All right, so see, I've got all sorts of color on there, and then I'm going to spray it. Now, of course, the more you smush it, the more you spray it, the looser it's going to be, and you'll end up with less definition. Just keep that in mind. If you want more defined smushes, don't use as much water. Okay, so Anne wants to know, will crumpled press and seal work? Crumpled press and seal, yes, it will work. So see, look, I'm just going around. And you see how it makes those really cool smushes. Like you can't get that using any other medium. Like you probably could get it using like crumpled up paper. Of course, your paper would get soggy, right? So the plastic is where it's at. All right, so we kind of lost the heart, but again, it doesn't matter because we're going to go over it with the marker. All right, so now I'm going to add in some of the red. Didn't even clean off the purple. Okay, so back to Anne's question about the press and seal. Yes, press and seal does work. Just remember that press and seal likes to press and seal on itself, so it's harder to pull apart. If you need to like zhuzh your plastic, it's a little harder to do, but it does work. I tried that in a pinch because I wanted to do some and I didn't have any downstairs. I didn't feel like going to the kitchen. So I went and I grabbed some and it did work. All right, so there. The heart is like totally hidden, right? Oh, there you go. Sue says, and that's perfect. Sue says wax paper works as well, and it's less expensive, which is true. So yeah, waxed paper, and that makes more sense because if you wanted to, like paper, like I said, would work, but paper is going to get all smushy. Wax paper, of course, is going to repel that, so it's not going to smush. So there you go. So now you've got choices. You can use your cling film, all right, but you can use your press and seal if you have that. Wax paper works as well. Yes. So, and Becca also says an old, thank you, Becca. So she says also an old bread bag or a shopping bag. Yeah. Like, so, the plastic shopping bags, which we still have in the States, they really don't have those so much overseas anymore because they banned them. Yay. But yeah, if you have a plastic bag, that would work. Now, what doesn't work is like the plastic packaging from, like from your stamp sets. So like this plastic packaging doesn't really work as well because it doesn't hold the crumple as well. But definitely a plastic shopping sack would work. Oh, you know what else would work? While we're talking recycling. So do you get those when you get a package in the mail, a box in the mail, you get this stuff, the air pillows? So we have a recycling program that does the plastic film recycling. So I'm always recycling this stuff anyway. But this would work as well. So just let out your air and you could use this as well. All right. So just be careful if it's got writing on it. It shouldn't transfer, but it might. So use a side that doesn't have the writing on it and you'll be good to go. So yeah, any of this stuff, I think I'm going to save this because then I don't have to go upstairs and get any more cling film. So there you go. Thank you, Becca. I knew you would have an answer because you're always looking for ways to recycle. And I was looking for one too, but like I said, recycling some of my packaging didn't work. But yes, this would be great. Yes, bubble wrap will work. It will give you the bubble wrap texture though, right? So if you use the bubble wrap side, if it's still inflated, you'll get the bubbles, the actual circles. And that's actually a completely different technique. All right. I love you guys. You're all like coming up with great ideas here. All right. And you know what? In the meantime, that really helps this dry a little bit. So let's get some dry on here. I want to dry this because when we do our heat embossing, I want to make sure that it doesn't stick on everything else. All right, there we go. So now we're dry. Okay, so, and then like I said, that heart is kind of not really there anymore, but we're going to make it come right back. So this doesn't have to go back over top perfectly. I can kind of see where the lines are though. Once I put it over the top, like you can kind of see where a little bit of the outline is. And that will help me get this kind of lined up the way it needs to be. And I was thinking like a couple of different ways. How could I make this heart be a little more apparent? And so when I added the color to it, yes, that made it shine a little bit more. But then I thought, you know what? I'm just going to outline it. So very carefully keeping my marker towards the edge here because I don't want to, you know how like sometimes you go whoop and it comes right across and you're like, no, I ruined it. Yeah, I just didn't want that to happen. So very carefully go around the edge here. And now, there we go. Isn't that so cute? All right, so you can really see that the inside is a little bit more pink and the outside helps define that just a little bit. All right, so now technique number 2, we're going to add some heat embossing to this. I love this technique. A lot of people don't know about this one. This one I published not too long ago on YouTube, and a lot of people were like, oh my God, I never thought of doing that. And it's so beautiful. So we're using copper today. And I will tell you, this is like a mix of Ranger and Wow and Ulta New all together because I'm always like, if I run low, I get a new one and then I just dump it right in here. So it's a mix of different brands. So there we go. Cece says she loves the shape of this heart. Yeah, it's a nice little chunky heart. It's not too skinny. And Paula says much simpler than foiling, which is true. It's a different look though, because you can definitely tell that it's a marker even though it's metallic. It doesn't give the same look that foiling would do. But we're going to be doing this heat embossing. So all I'm going to do is take my water spray bottle and gently press on my lever here, and it's going to give me some drops on my paper. I'm going to go right into my embossing powder. This is a great technique. And I love this technique because it gets you a splatter look, which is something that you cannot achieve in any other way. You could stamp, I mean, if you had a splatter stamp, I suppose, but I don't know. I still think that splatter stamps kind of look contrived. So it's nice to have like the actual natural organic occurrence happen. How far from the paper? I don't know, anywhere from 3 to 6 inches. It's really not too far. It just kind of depends on how much you're pressing your, you see how I'm getting that nice little, I'm like about 4 inches away. All right. And once you've got it on there, it's going to stick even if the water dries a little. And then it's going to do something really cool. It will actually kind of puddle and pool a little differently. So let's watch. All right. So here's the cool thing about water is that it's evaporating, right? So the heat gun is what's evaporating the water while it's heating up the embossing powder. So if the water evaporates like here before the powder heats, then the powder kind of like melts and expands and kind of seeks itself. And it creates these cool little empty circles instead of a filled circle like this one here. And even this one here has a little bit more texture to it because of the way that the water reacts as it's drying. So it's really just a completely different textural look. It's really, really cool. I am doing high heat. So this Sizzix has a high and a low setting, and I did do the high setting like normal. If you do the low setting, it would definitely, obviously it's going to take longer. I find that sometimes water, this technique takes longer to heat up anyway, because you're trying to get the water to evaporate. And sometimes the powder won't heat up until the water evaporates to a certain point. So it sometimes just takes a little bit longer anyway, because you're working with water versus the sticky medium of like a Versamark or whatever. So there we go. So cool. All right. And really, this is like the bulk of the project. So let's attach a few things. I've got my card base. I'm doing a top fold card base today. So it is The measurements, of course, are 4.5 by 11, scored at 5.5, and pulled it up all nice and neat. This red is gorgeous. This is what I would call almost like a true red. I have to look and see in my swatch catalog what color this actually falls under. But it's definitely more of an orange red. And I really like it. It's the Chili Pepper by Fawn. It's a great, great color. So that's going to go right on our card base. Get that right on there. All right. So card base. And then this is going to go on here. Now we did some heat setting on this, right? So we're a little bit wonky. And of course, I always like to use a double-sided adhesive if I'm going to put that down right away to help everything stick and be flat. All right, getting this stuff started is like half the battle, right? Oh my goodness. So pop this down in place. I always cut this slightly smaller than the piece that I'm going to be using it on if I'm doing like a big piece like this, so that way I don't have to worry about making it perfect and having to like trim off any on the edges, because that's always just a pain in the butt. So cutting it a little short always works wonders. Okay. So again, I'm just going to fold over a little bit, make sure that my card is opening the right way, right? And get this aligned. All right, so once I have, of course that was going to lift up, so I didn't really press down very hard. So what I typically do, stop me if you've heard this before, I make sure that these three edges are aligned and that they look evenly spaced. And if I need to fix it, I can fix it now before I pull the rest of my paper off. And then I'm going to just grab this guy and then press as I go. And there we go. Beautiful. All right, so now that's laying nice and flat. Yay. So we need to get our sentiment started here. And like I said, this is from Picket Fence. It's called Seriously, the Seriously word die. And I've got on a piece of navy blue cardstock my double-sided adhesive already. Sometimes I really use that on these word dies, so that way I don't have to worry about sticking glue on the back of them when I'm done. And I can fit it right up here. So this one I gotta watch out, because you've got to grab the tittle for the eye. It's called a tittle. Snicker, snicker. Okay, so this is going to go through our die cut machine. Erin says she likes the color choices. Yeah, I always like to go traditional. Like a navy blue is really nice to soften things up a little bit instead of going black, for sure. So let me grab some of the pieces out of here. This is where, you know, the pokey tool, the paper piercer, always comes in handy. I'm always using this little tool for any number of things. It gets used and abused in the craft room for sure. It very rarely gets used for paper piercing. I think that's why we all call it the pokey tool, because we don't really use it for paper piercing that much, do we? All right. So if I get these out ahead of time, then once I pull the word out, it's easier to manage. There we go. Okay. So I'm just gonna loosen it up. This has got some pretty thin pieces like this little bit here, which is why it's nice to have this on the double-sided adhesive. I think it didn't cut through. Seriously? Okay, if you run into this problem, like I think it did, I seriously don't think it cut through on the end there. You just grab scissors. Seriously? Oh my gosh. All right. That happens sometimes. It's pretty easy to cut that out though, because there's already the line there from the die itself. And I have to say, like, I have a problem pulling these out when I'm doing these lives sometimes. It can be a little bit of a mess. And you're all probably thinking, this happens to me all the time. Yeah. There we go. Okay, so the disadvantage of using the double-sided adhesive sheets is that things just like to not release as easily. So patience is always the name of the game here. Sometimes it's good to run it through your die cut machine twice to make sure that it's cut all the way through, the adhesive at least. Because right now, like, it definitely didn't cut through the backing, so it's like a kiss cut sticker almost, because the backing isn't going to come off with it. Sometimes it's preferable to have the backing come off, because then it's easier to just pull it off when you're done. I should have run this through twice. Definitely should have run this through twice. Or with the shim. So I'm running into a problem. It's free. Yes, and Anne, it always works perfectly when you're not on camera. That's why live streams are so fun, because you get to see that we all have these problems. We all have these problems. All right. Seriously. Okay. There we go. But look, we made it. All right. So hopefully it's not too wonky. And I do have a little piece still stuck inside here. Little paper snips are always good to get those little bits out if you need to. So you avoid this on live TV or live streaming by having the pieces already cut and checked before you do it. And then you can avoid that kind of thing, right? I prefer to show you how it really goes down sometimes. Because we want to persevere. We don't want to throw up our hands and say, I can't do it as easily as Nicole. Not always easy. All right, so what I am going to do is get my O kind of in place here, because that's about the center of the word. All right, once you've got that in place, then you can work your way out and gently press, and then make sure that everything is kind of lined up as you go. And then that keeps everything in line. And see, I even had like a real mishap here with the R that I may have to just cut off. Oh no, that's good. And there it is. Survived. We survived. Ta-da! So, Nancy says she was doing some work with Merry Christmas die and she lost all but one of the tittles. And that's true. Like, rhinestones are your friend, sequins are your friend. If you lose the little dot for your eye, it's called a tittle, then that's what a rhinestone is for sure. And that's what your pokey tool is for. Make sure that gets on there. Good. Hey, look. All right, all sorts of fun things going on over here. And let's see, what I'm missing the injection foam comment. A good dye for ejection foam. Yeah, I don't know what she means. Excellent. Okay, so there we go. Let's get our sentiment. Now, I've got this nice long piece here, and it's kind of wide too, but I'm going to make it smaller. Okay, so this is from the Stamp Market. It's called Tons of Type. And this is a great little stamp set. It's got all sorts of excellent sentiments on here. And you know what I like is that they're even smaller. I mean, the typing on this is even smaller than a 1/4 inch tall. So you can really make super thin sentiment strips if you want. And you could do this, I mean, with everything. So I could say, seriously, thinking of you, seriously, have the best day ever, seriously, get better, seriously, happiest of birthdays. I mean, you could use it with anything. Seriously, have a nice day, just because, etc. So on my original one, I did seriously missing you and your smile, right? So that's totally cute. But we could do let's see, what was I thinking of? Seriously, you're some kind of wonderful, right? Yes, Becca, go ahead and place a link for injection foam, thin sheet of adhesive foam. Huh. Yes, I want to know more about this. Oh, and yes, Paula, that's a great idea. You could use one of the enamel hearts from Altenew on your tittle. That would be great. Okey-doke. So we might go back and do that. I don't know if I have a navy. I wonder if I have the navy set of, I think I do have the blue set. We'll have to see if there's a blue one that would work. Okay, so this guy, I'm really placing like right down in the corner to kind of help make sure that it's nice and squared up. Sentiment strips are hard to line up like that sometime. All right, but we've got lots of paper here. If we mess up, we can try again and again and again. And I am using VersaFine Clair Glamorous. And like I said, it's a nice pinkish, purplish pink, I should say. And I really love using VersaFine Clair for my sentiments because you only ever have to stamp them once. Okay, so as long as your ink is nice and juicy, it's been re-inked and everything like that, you really only ever have to stamp it once. That looks pretty darn good. All right, so this guy, I could go back and try to trim him up, but I'm going to just use my scissors. And I don't know. Yeah, I am. So I'm just going to cut that off there. And see, look at how skinny I'll be able to make this. This is like, let's see, let me think about this. 3/16 of an inch, maybe? Yeah, 3/16. So a nice little teeny tiny strip. And this way, you've got the strip on here and it looks really nice, but it's not covering up a whole bunch of stuff underneath. Sometimes I find like even a 1/4 inch sentiment strip is like too much, right? So to be able to do something this thin, so like I said, this is about 3/16. It's just slightly smaller than a 1/4 inch. Works really well. So just a little bit of glue across the back. And then we'll pop this right across the swirl on the seriously. And there we go. Ta-da! Let me see. Yeah, you might have to look for a different brand because I don't think Altenew has darker blue than the Glacier Caves ones. And that's just a little, it's not quite navy enough. But this something along these lines would definitely be totally cute. All right. So there you go. Ta-da! All done. Okay, and we learned all sorts of new things today. We talked about treasure books. We talked about this adhesive foam for dies. Interesting, interesting, interesting. All sorts of fun sharing today. And a fun project to boot. So there we go, guys. First project of 2022. We had a lot of fun with pulling out our die cut there. And still had a really great results. So there it is. I like it. Quick. Time goes by quick when we are having fun and crafting together. Yeah, so another thing you could do if you were missing the tittle for your eye, you could always color in a gemstone with an alcohol marker. Yes, and absolutely. All sorts of great ideas for ways to work around stuff in the craft room when it doesn't quite work out the way we have it planned. So, but these turned out great. So we've got lots of great ideas for how to use different cling films, whether it's recycled or a different kind of film or wrap in from your kitchen, all sorts of things to do that. We did our heat embossing with water, which is such an amazing technique. I definitely think you should try that on any project you're working on this week. There is a video out on YouTube for that. And of course, you can always check it out in the Technique membership library. We've got that already out there in the library. So excellent. If you haven't tried it yet, do so. And then don't forget to tag me, Nicole Watt Creates. I would love to see you guys do some embossing with water. Excellent. So guys, I'm so glad to have spent a little bit of time with you. Yay, 2022 is off to a great start. Glad to have you all here. I do want to say, you know, last month we were talking about, we did the mixed media tag, and I told you I was running out of my on point glue. Well, I just got 3 new glues, and I'm going to be doing a little test to see which will be my replacement for on point glue. Maybe they're all on point glue in disguise. We'll find out. That will be coming up in my blog sometime soon. I just got these 2 today, so I need to wait for them to warm up a little bit because I think one of them might be just a little frozen. So anyway, guys, I'm so glad to see you all here. I hope you are having a bang up 2022 already. And I hope that you get some time to craft this weekend. I hope that I was able to inspire you today. And if I was, don't forget to give me a thumbs up on this video on the way out. And I will be back here next Thursday running with scissors. Until then, check out the replays. Check out all the other content I've got out here. And I will see you next week. Happy crafting.